Today, we're going to talk about the benefits of reading books, especially positive, uplifting books. Check this out. If you're new here, I post videos on increasing your vibration, living a joyful life, and living with inner peace. It's really help brighten your mind, to brighten your life, to brighten your world, to help the collective consciousness of the world increase. Today I'm outside, fresh air. Oh, this morning I should have took a video of it. It was not as warm as it is right now. It was like minus 17, now it's +1. The trees were all full of snow and it was so beautiful. The sun is out, so happy. You are light and love. Yeah, I know my channel, I always share books and what books to read, but I don't share what's the reasoning and importance of reading these books. One reason is that it strengthens your brain. The reason why they say reading is so good, it's like when you're reading, it's like you going to the gym, exercising your body. Reading is like exercising your mind. And when you're doing that, it's because you're reading words. You're thinking about it, you're comprehending, you're using your imagination, you're thinking about examples in your own life, especially when it comes to positive, uplifting books. And when you think about that in your own life, it's making your brain think. And that's why there's a study that I read is that when you read a lot and do puzzles and things like that, it prevents people, even when they're older, having Alzheimer's and things like that. That's one of the studies I read. It's just so good for your brain. So that's why reading is just amazing. And that's why it's really good to read positive, uplifting books, because you're using that in your own life. Another benefit is that it builds your vocabulary. When you start to read, sometimes you're reading different words that you've never seen before. And a big thing to do, a hack, is to, when you're reading and you don't know that word, look up in your dictionary what that word means. I don't do that often, but when I really don't know a word, I will look it up. And so in the future reference, I will know what that word means. So I'll be able to use it in a sentence. And when you have a bigger vocabulary, you're able to verbally explain your emotions versus doing it physically. That's why they say a lot of the people who are in prisons and jails, they have to show their emotions physically because they don't know how to deal with it verbally. And that's why when people get violent and things like that, they have a low vocabulary because they don't know how to say it, their emotions, through words. Bella meeting some dogs. She loves dogs. And yeah, back to the vocabulary thing. If you really think about it, if you don't know how to explain your emotions via verbally, then it really can affect the way you're able to handle like challenging situations. You being able to not be able to handle stress that well if you're not able to show your emotions. So whenever I walk out here on my walk with my dog, I always ask my higher self, Zora, Ba, mostly Zora, just she's more like my nature higher self, like what are we gonna talk about? And today what whispered in my ear was, why don't you share why books are so important? Yes, you can share the type of books, but if you're not sharing why it's important to read them and how they are to your mind and soul and how to brighten your mind, why read them at all? And I know a lot of people probably know all the reasons, but this is just like as a reminder as to why. Also, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Liking and subscribing and turning on notifications really helps to get more people to watch this information who need it. To brighten your mind, to brighten your life, to brighten your world, to live in light and love, and get more light in your life and remove the darkness. Subscribe now. Another reason is it reduces stress. And the reason why it reduces stress, again, you're using your mind. You're being calm. You're not at a stress level when you're reading. You're just trying to comprehend the information. And it is a hack. I didn't realize it's one of the hacks I use to lower stress. Whenever I feel like I need a break, I go to my library, I sit with my books, I read a sentence, and I feel better. And it really makes a big difference in your life. So try reading a book. And I always say in my channel, and I always want to do something simple, try reading for 1 to 5 minutes a day. So that's basically even reading a sentence. If you can't even do that, just open a book and read a sentence. And from there, you'll know that even if you just read that one sentence, you have to think about it and really try to comprehend it and really use your mindset and your imagination, understanding all the words they're saying and how it can better your life. If you think about it, reading is a more meditative thing because you're using your brain. I keep saying that over and over, but when you use your brain and your mind and your thoughts, it really does make a difference. You really gotta really be mindful when you're reading. and it helps you exercise your brain to be more mindful. Look at the sun. Love it. Another thing is that it prepares you for a good night's sleep, especially if you read your book right before you go to bed. And what research say and the doctor suggests is get a print book, like an actual physical book, not so much an ebook reader, because the light emitting from it can prevent you from going to sleep. And that's the one thing you want to do, is read a book before you go to bed. For one, you're thinking, but not hardcore thinking. You're being mindful, you're being meditative, and you're feeling so much better and relaxed. Once again, reading, it reduces your anxiety and your stress, so you sleep better at night. I know every time I read a book before bed, especially if it's a physical book, I sleep so much more better at night, like so much more better. And it's so worth it to read a physical book. And that's why they say that instead of trying to binge watch shows, like I'm a culprit, I've been binge watch a lot of shows on Netflix, but it says to take a break for that for one day and try reading a book. So that's one thing I'm gonna do and be more mindful today. I read more yesterday, today more focusing on reading, and it's totally changed my mindset and things like that. Because if you watch too many things that are dramatic, scary, especially if you're a highly sensitive person like I am, it really can affect you. It actually does really affect me as a person. But I notice when I read, I feel so much better. I use my mind more, I use things, and it's just worth it. And a bonus tip I mentioned earlier, I talked about reading real books, is to read a book that's in print. The mass makes a big difference rather than reading a book that is electronic or from an ebook. It makes a big difference. When you read a book that's mass, that has print, the reason why it has more energy, I learned this years ago in a success club that I was in, and our mentors, they all talked about reading mass. So the difference of reading, like it's better to read something, like if all you have is e-reader, electronic book, it is better. But it's the difference of 95% versus 100%. So the book, the energy, you're getting like 95% of it reading an ebook reader, versus an actual book with mass and print is like 100%. Because mass has energy. The words on paper have energy, and you're feeling that book while you're reading. It has something to do with energetics and mass. So that's a hack when it comes to reading. It's like, do your best to read the book in mass. And comment below, do you read books? And if so, are you going to read more books that are mass? Or if you do read books that are mass, do you prefer ebook readers or actual physical book? Comment below. See you in the next video.